Have you noticed how all logos these days look kinda the same? Flat, minimal, lowercase, and super clean. From fashion to tech, even luxury brands are ditching their old identities for simpler, stripped down versions. But here's the real question. Is this just a trend or is it actually a good design? Let's break it down. Not just visually, but strategically, emotionally, and culturally. Logos weren't always this simple. If you go back a few decades, logos were loud, detailed, sometimes even borderline chaotic. Think of Coca-Cola or Levi's. They had personality. They told a story. They had texture. Logos were more designed for impact than for scalability. These logos were meant to live on billboards, storefronts, and packaging. Big canvases where details mattered. They didn't have to shrink down to 24 by 24 pixels. Now compare that to 2025. Brands are going flat, minimal, and little too similar. But why? Let's be honest. The way we interact with brands has completely transformed. Today your logo needs to work on app icons, tiny phone screens, and smartwatch faces. It needs to load fast, scale well, and look clean across multiple touchpoints. Simple logos do that really well. They are adaptive, they are versatile, and easier to reproduce. And now add to that the rise of minimalism, global competition, digital first branding, and evolving user preferences. And you get a wave of visual decluttering. But there's more. Let me give you a real world example. In 2019, Zomato launched a new logo, cleaner, flatter, very app friendly. But if you go back to their old logo and from a few years earlier, it had this quirky little icon and a more playful vibe. Why the change? Well, the team wanted app to scale globally, look premium, and unify their app, website, and offline branding. But the moment it launched, social media exploded. Some loved the simplicity, others said it felt too corporate and lost its fun. And that's the tension between identity and functionality, legacy and scalability. It's not just about looking modern, it's about how brands feel across multiple contexts. Let's look at some other examples. Google simplified its logo in 2015, switching to sans-serif typeface for better readability across screens. The change was subtle but strategic. It helped unify Google's entire product suite under one cohesive identity. Airbnb moved from bubbly watermark to bellow symbol, minimal, iconic, and globally adaptable. It wasn't just a logo change, it was a rebranding of what Airbnb stood for: belonging, community, and trust. Burberry, Balmain, Saint Laurent, and Belluti all went from expressive serif fonts to modern sans serif styles. The change made them feel more contemporary, but also drew criticism for being too uniform. Even Kia dramatically updated their logo to something more angular and futuristic. The move was bold and sparkled a lot of debate. But it did make people talk. It feels like everyone went to same design school. Okay, let's give credit where it's due. Simple logos are versatile across all media, scalable from billboards to app icons, recognizable at a glance, easier and cheaper to print or animate, friendly to both light and dark modes on digital platforms. Plus, in noisy media landscape where everyone's fighting for attention, simplicity can help brands stand out, ironically by being quiet and confident. Simplicity reduces cognitive load. It makes brands feel accessible, modern, and focused. But here's the flip side. A lot of designers and users feel that this whole wave of simplification is making brands lose their soul. When every brand uses similar sans-serif fonts and strips away all ornamentation, you lose character, you lose memorability. It becomes harder to tell brands apart at a glance. There's less emotion, there's less storytelling. It's almost like personality is being ironed out in the name of efficiency. We have seen this before, when big brands simplified their logos and got massive backlash. Companies like Gap and Tropicana faced criticism because of their new logos felt too generic, losing emotional connection people had with the original ones. Even closer to home, when brands like Zomato and Airtel updated their logos, users felt that they lost the unique charm that made them stand out. There's psychological layer too. Simple shapes are easier for brain to remember. Clean lines feel modern and trustworthy. Straightforward typography feels safe and global. When you are targeting a worldwide audience or want your app icon to pop on a screen, you want clarity. So the simplification is not just visual, it's strategic. It's branding, marketing, and UX all rolled into one. So minimal logos are not always better. Now we come back to the big question. Is simpler better? The truth is, it depends. If the simplification is intentional, thoughtful, and it retains brand's core personality, then it could be a great decision. But if it is just following a trend for the sake of fitting in, then it risks becoming bland and forgettable. Design isn't about just making things pretty. It's about making things work emotionally, strategically, and culturally. It's a balance between usability and identity, a balance between trend and timelessness. Next time you see a logo change and wonder, why did they do that? Pause, look closer. Is it just cleaner, or is there thought behind the design? Because in the world of branding, what you remove is just as powerful as what you keep. And that's where good design lives. In the decisions no one notices but everyone feels. If you found this breakdown valuable, stick around. We'll be decoding more design trends, everyday branding choices, and visual strategies every week.